I was scrolling through Facebook the other day, and I came across a post from this fan page that I follow. This fan page had been taking a bit of heat lately for posting things about a gay ship, and then the admin later came out as gay. And so there was already just a lot of kind of conflict on this page. And so I saw on this particular post a bit of discourse in the comments section. And so, being my nosy self, I had to go investigate. So what had happened was someone had made just what was supposed to be just a meaningless, kind of lighthearted joke about the post this person posted, which was about the same gay ship. And the admin kind of reacted with anger at this. And the person who had made this joke just kind of went, geez, triggered much? Take a joke. With just no apology or remorse that their words had upset somebody else. And I think that's the problem with a lot of humor these days, is it has to come at the expense of someone else. And I've noticed kind of more and more triggered jokes. And I can't wrap my head around what is funny about these. This person, this admin that I was talking about, they could have faced horrible bullying and abuse in their past. And there's nobody who really knows what that person has gone through and why certain triggers exist for them. And so what makes you think you have the right to go poking fun at something that you have no idea about? And it's kind of something I call in my head the freedom of speech epidemic. Especially among US citizens, because freedom of speech is kind of a big deal in this country. Like, it's so big of a deal that people can't stop talking about it. But nobody knows what it actually means. Freedom of speech means that the government cannot lock you away and put you in prison, or whatever they would do, make you disappear because you had an opinion that they didn't like. Freedom of speech does not mean that you are allowed to say whatever you want without consequence. And people getting hurt or offended is a direct consequence of what you say. And the general reaction to that seems to be just take a joke. Like, the person saying take a joke is putting their own ego above the person's feelings who they hurt. And I've heard it many times, just, take a joke. No. If there is something that hurts or offends me, no, I don't have to take it. I will tell you that what you said was bad or wrong, and I will tell you why, too. I will not hold back. And then freedom of speech, freedom of speech this, freedom of speech that. That's not how it works. And the trigger jokes are incredibly problematic, and I can understand this. You know, I have triggers for anxiety and depression. Just certain things that people say can trigger my anxiety into just spiraling way out of control. And one thing I've noticed is that people who care about you will listen when you tell them not to say that. And people who don't care about you will tell you to take a joke. And I don't even know how this really started. People making fun of triggers. Like, there are people who experience really horrible events in their life and develop things such as PTSD because of it. And you're going to make fun of their trigger. Why? Like, I don't understand, I guess, what makes people think they have the right to just make fun of something that they don't understand. They think people should just have to put up with whatever they say. They make fun of triggers and safe spaces, but the truth is, we have a right to want to eliminate such toxicity from our lives. I mean, I don't understand why a safe place from, like, slurs would be a bad thing. I guess because of my own mental illness, I've had so much empathy for other people. Like, it gets to the point where I can actually feel their pain sometimes. And so I guess because of that, I don't understand how there can be people who have nothing better to do than make triggered jokes. And there are very few things that will just make me lose complete respect for a person just within a second. But that is one of them. Triggers are a very serious thing. Like, for what I said about PTSD earlier, that is not something you take lightly. You don't take a person's traumatic past lightly. And even other mental disorders, anxiety, depression, they're not something you should take lightly. If you cause somebody to have anxiety, you shouldn't just say, oh, triggered much. You should just do the decent thing and apologize. And I guess really all we want is to be understood, and sometimes I see these jokes and I think the world will never understand us. And the truth is, maybe they just never will. We function differently than other people because of what we've been through. the way our brains are wired. We're just not the same as other people. And that doesn't have to be a bad thing. Of course, suffering is a bad thing, but lately I've really come to believe that I can turn this energy of my brain that isn't normal into something positive. I can turn my anxiety into empathy. And that's not to say I won't suffer from anxiety anymore, but I'm learning that there are good things that come with it. And I mean, once I just wanted to get rid of it completely, but now I don't. I'm almost grateful for it, as weird as that sounds. It's made me who I am, and I like who I am. I don't want to be anyone different. And so, if that means I had to endure years of nearly unbearable anxiety, then it was worth it. And anxiety is not the only thing. I have triggers for, depression comes with its triggers too. Another thing that people don't seem to really understand the damage that it does is people will jokingly tell someone to kill themselves. Like, why would you even do that? Why do you think that's a smart thing to say? Like, in the very darkest pit of my depression, if someone would have told me to kill myself, I would have probably just said, okay, sure, why not? It's just like there's an epidemic of people who don't understand that their words have meaning. They think words are just waves in the air that are completely harmless. They can't harm anybody. It's just sound waves. How can words hurt someone? And it's always just amazing to me that there are people out there just completely void of empathy. And I see that, and I remind myself that that's who I don't want to be. I never want to be someone who can sit back and laugh at someone else's suffering. And I no longer want to be someone who will sit back and let my social anxiety just keep me from stepping up and saying something if I see something like a triggered joke. It's a problem, and I don't see it going away anytime soon, so I guess it's just time to take a stand and fight it. Because who else will? If we don't call out other people's problematic behavior, then it's just gonna continue. And if people refuse to quit that behavior, then that says a lot about them, and none of it good. Sorry, this video was more of a rant than anything, but thank you for taking the time to watch. Have a wonderful day.